What's up, everybody? Welcome to American Fire. I'm Ace. I'll be taking you through it tonight. I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're relaxed late at night, ready to go through the news. Oh my God, it's taking me so long right now to get all my research together because there's so much. I literally have to take my time and cut. I didn't used to have to cut. Sometimes I'm like trying to find stuff, but no, I got to cut news because it's just jam packed. These shows are jam packed right now with all the Epstein files and everything going on in the world. It's wild. So guys, tonight we continue our journey through the Epstein files because it's continuing. This isn't stopping anytime soon. It's actually building up. I have a lot more we got to cover on Steve Bannon. So this is going to be like a part 2 of last night. It won't be as long, but we definitely got to get into Bannon stuff because there's just more and more coming out. And that's absolutely wild if you're MAGA, if you're a Trump fan. So we got to go through all that. Then I actually got some good stuff, economic news coming out that's really interesting, showing that I think we're about to head for something really special in the economy in the next few months, big wins from Trump. So we're going to be covering that as well. And then I cut a couple other small stories here and there we're going to talk about. But first, before we get started, guys, if you could hit that like, I really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe, hit that share. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you for doing that. It really helps the channel. And if you're watching on X, same thing. Hit that like, hit that repost. I appreciate it so much. And Rumble as well. You guys know the deal. Let's get to the chat. Say hey to everybody, and then we'll get right on with the show. Let's see who's here first tonight. We got D6. What's up, buddy? Wago Waco. Shogun. Z Grooms. What's up? US1. Frank Anastasio, Nick Majors, Alice Fordham, how's it going? Mark R, Linda Telly, Uncle Andy in the house tonight. Cass Sink, what's up? First 1776, what's up? Man, I miss when it showed your guys' names. I hate that YouTube did this, but anyways, I digress. Lock Up, what's going on? Lochtefeld over on Rumble, what is up? Chris Motzwaller, what's up, man? He says, yeah, I can tell this one will be great. Oh, man, we're getting into it, that's for sure. Always getting in deep. It's been crazy lately. I feel like the shows have been action packed because there's just so much to talk about. Jeremy Bodle, what's up, buddy? How we doing? So listen, guys, I got a really important story to share before we get started here. And Shogun, you're going to appreciate this since you guys just won the Super Bowl. But I feel like my team just won a bigger prize. The Niners have the most players registered as Republican among all teams. Just saying, MAGA Niners. Yeah, baby. That's it. Now we can go. We can call it a night. Call it a night. Cheers. All of my sparkling water. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. Good night. Good night, all. Sorry, I had to do it. We needed a win. It's been a rough season for the end of the season for the Niners. And we needed a win. So I thought I'd share that all. So Niners Nation, baby. Okay. We'll get, D6 says, ironic considering how liberal communist San Francisco is. I know, man. But listen, they shine the brightest in the darkest places sometimes, you know, that's how it works. Okay. All right. That was fun. For real though. We're going to get into it. And, tonight I wanted to start with something though, a little different, before we get to the news part. And, I had a very interesting thing happen tonight. And now I'm not, not being silly. It was kind of a wake up call as to how serious things are. And I'm trying to think of how to address this because it's going to be strange for a lot of you. You guys know I'm a big believer, a big man of faith, years in ministry, worked in deliverance ministry, counseling people, all kinds of stuff, helped lead a church, grew up in the church. So, it's in my blood. There's no getting around it. It is my blood. It's who I am. And, lots and lots and lots of, what's the word I'm looking for? Just experiencing this stuff. So, and it can get a little weird sometimes, guys, when you actually experience God and everything. But by the way, it looks like I'm not actually streaming. My stream's not working on X, so that's interesting. That'll fit right in with what I'm talking about. So tonight, while I was got my little ones down and was getting ready to take a shower and then hang out with my wife a little bit before doing my research, getting the show on, my son sent me a text. And, it's funny because he's in the house, but he wanted to he's autistic. So sometimes he wants to reach out in different ways, and that's how he communicates. So he texted me, and I was like, okay, interesting. And he just wrote this long text. He was like, Dad, sorry to interrupt you, like your night and whatever you guys are doing. But I have been, I didn't set the stage enough here. I'm sorry. My son is a seer. I don't know if many of you guys know what that is, but he, since he's a little kid, he actually sees angels and demons. That's it. There it is. And we've just experienced this enough. It's legit. I mean, it's real. He can see them clear as day. And it's so he just, since he was a little boy, he grew up, nothing's changed. He doesn't talk about much anymore. He's been ridiculed. We've taught him how to live with it, and it's just his regular life now. And he knows most people aren't accepting of it, so he only really brings it up if he thinks it's important. And anyways, he wrote me out of nowhere, and I can show you the text just to, so you guys, like, you're not crazy, but I don't mean this up, but this is how it is in my life. Okay, here's the text. I don't want to show you his name, so I'm blocking out the top, but he just wrote me and said that the last few nights, as he's been going by my door as I'm doing my show, he's been seeing some activity, some real demonic activity. In fact, stuff like shouting at the door, trying to get to my head, mess with me, whatever. And he just said, I thought you should know. I've just been seeing it so much lately, and it's weird. It doesn't usually happen. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I've been really covering the Epstein files and in detail. And on this show, I'm not scared of doing stuff like challenging Steve Bannon, who is MAGA influencer, and among other things. We don't have fear here. I'm not bought by anybody. I believe in Donald Trump and his mission. I'm loyal to that, and anybody standing in that way, I'm going to call out, and we're going to call out what's weird. And even if it's an influencer, I don't trust any of them over Trump, and so I'm willing to go there. But I'm also willing to go into the deeper stuff that needs to be addressed that a lot of people don't cover. I try to base my show. Obviously, I can't cover everything. There's just no way. No one has that ability, and I don't have the time. I'm here. I get maybe an hour and a half with you guys every night. This is not enough time, but I cover what's most important towards the winning, towards changing our nation, towards changing our lives, and so. And sometimes that means I cover stuff others don't cover. But when he said that to me, it didn't scare me. I don't get scared about this stuff because, if you're walking with Jesus, man, the demonic can't hurt you. And that's something that's very important to understand. But what it showed me again, and was a good wake-up call, because sometimes I get so focused on the political stuff, I forget, and I don't forget for long periods of time, but just in the moment, I can tend to forget that the ultimate battle is spiritual. The biggest battle we're in is the great spiritual battle. As Jesus, well, actually Paul wrote in his epistles, we don't war against flesh and blood, but against the principalities, the powers of the air. He's talking about the demonic and their hold. Principality is a giant demon that has a hold over an area or a people. And that's what we war against. And they are mad right now. They're really mad because their exposure is happening. What they've been doing in the darkness is starting to be exposed. And what it said to me is we're on the right track. We're on the right track. And again, we can never forget this is a spiritual battle. So when you get into it, I know we like to dunk on liberals and call them out and all that. And there's reasons for that are legit. But we got to always remember it's actually the ideology, it's the belief system, it's the evil that they that has swept their minds. That's actually the enemy. And so it's just a good thing to remember that. And the enemy's really mad right now. Really mad right now because there's a lot of truth coming out that was never supposed to be seen. And truth is what wakes us up. And if you had any other doubts that Trump, this administration, is actually doing God's work, that he's commissioned by God, I wanted to share this clip from RFK Jr. today. And I don't know if this was today or yesterday or whatever, but regardless, the timing doesn't matter. What matters is his words. And I just want you to hear what he has to say about his role in the administration and how he got there.
For 20 years, I was, screaming about this with nobody paying attention, no pediatricians, which is really strange. What happened to the pediatricians? They know, some of them have been working for 20 years and they know that kids are not, they're seeing this increase, this influx in all these diseases. And I was censored and shut down. And but I prayed every single day that God would put me in a place where I could fix this. And so for me, when President Trump asked me to join his campaign in August of 2024, it felt providential. It felt like the answer to prayers. And then, he kept his word to me on everything and more. He invited me to be part of his transition team. I'm the first HHS secretary in history that was able to choose all of my agency heads, Marty and Jay and Dr. Oz. That's never happened before. And I think because of that, we have a collegiality and a sense of teamwork. And, we're trying to make it easier for parents to make good choices.
Okay, sorry. I just caught myself. I was off. Muted. Sorry. Anyways, did you hear what he said, though? He said that he'd been praying about this for decades. And Trump picking him to be on the team is providential. So, and that's how he saw it, because this is his answer, like God's answer to his prayers, which I gotta say is just, it's an incredible thing for him to say. I love hearing that from him. It's a beautiful thing. And he's a man of faith. He's a believer in God. And so to hear that, it just gives me even more peace, that RFK made it over and, God's just organized this whole thing. And one of the reasons it's really important to remember this right now, and don't worry, guys, we're going to get to the news. I know probably some of you are like, why are you droning on? Sorry. It's important. But it's important to remember when things are kind of darker, when it looks like somebody are fighting with the base right now. We see like Trump's poll numbers down. We see everybody dooming about the midterms. That's kind of like scary in a way, right? It's like, how are we winning? Like when the people are starting to turn away, and I don't know, Barris is a great pollster, but they're dooming so much right now. I don't know if I trust the polls or even if they matter. 'Cause I still have great hope for the next few months. But at the same time, when you're in it day after day, and it's everybody's dooming with the big channels, it does. Sometimes you stop and think, but you got to remember, like, God is he works differently than the world does, and he just gets it done. Expected everything about Trump's 2 terms getting in, what he's accomplished, the way he's changed our country has been miraculous. I mean, if you had just played politics as usual over the last 50 years and leading up to Trump, the direction we were headed, there was going to be no stopping it. Nobody thought she was going to lose. Nobody. You know, if we'd gotten Ted Cruz or Jeb Bush, we would have gotten uniparty types. And I know Ted Cruz super conservative, but listen, he's not one of us. He's just not. When he would have gotten there, he would have still talked a good game. We would have gotten a little bit of legislation, but he would not have fought the culture war we did. We would have seen a lot of compromise, and ultimately Cruz would have been, and that's if Cruz could have even gotten in, which I'm just telling you right now, there's no way in hell he would have beaten Hillary Clinton. No way in hell. He probably would have gotten beaten by 5 points. He just wasn't, he's not a popular person for a general election. He doesn't speak to the people. He comes across arrogant. So you have all that, and you have, I mean, again, if we'd gotten Hillary, it would have been over. Nobody else would have beat her. So that's a miracle. And we've seen Trump be imperfect. We've seen all this stuff happen. But at the same time, we've also seen our country be saved. We were saved from the precipice. We're heading in the right direction. A lot is happening, but we're also a big mess. And I've been hearing Tom Luongo, who I love. He's one of my favorite people to listen to. He's been saying this lately, and I think it's actually very on point. And he's been saying, like, we can't look at it so much as if we're saving our nation from being lost. He's like, the better way to look at it is our nation was lost, and now we're getting it back. And I think that's actually a better way of looking at it, because it means, like, we really didn't have it. We had no hope. We had no hope. I mean, there's always hope, but you know what I mean. We didn't have any hope in sight. We didn't have anything we could see. And then all of a sudden, Trump. It's incredible, incredible stuff. And look where we're at. Like, anytime you're about to freak out, just remember, guys, we weren't even in the fight 10 years ago. We weren't even in it. We had lost. And now look where we're at. All right. Just crazy stuff. So I wanted to share one more thing with you before we get to the main news. And look at this story right here. This is incredible. So just to see how, like, the amazing stuff God can do. These police officers in Louisville were searching for a missing 3-year-old, and out of nowhere comes a dog. And just look at this. Look at this story. I mean, this is a miracle, and this is the kind of thing that just makes you remember, like, never ever think that everything, and like, we're completely down and out. Miracles happen all the time.
Is there.
It comes via police body cam footage from Louisville last month. A missing 3-year-old child. More than a half dozen officers on the search. They sent up a helicopter, but had no luck until this happened.
Oh, what's up, dude? There's a dog. Where's he at? Let's go.
That's Officer Josh Thompson responding to a dog that seemed to have something important to say.
It led me all the way back to the backyard. At that point, I'm thinking, okay, this kid's in this backyard.
And sure enough,
The dog went right to the back bumper. Check the rear here. Goes to the back bumper and just sat there.
Yeah, he's right here.
after a quick lesson in car locks,
Grab and pull it. There we go!
I don't think I've ever seen a happier kid in my life. He jumped out of the car, bear hugged my neck, and wouldn't let go.
Good job, buddy.
the dog had cracked the case.
Last he found him.
Man, I don't know where the dog came from, but it was a blessing from God that day.
And here's the thing about that dog, Officer Thompson.
Listen, just incredible stuff. So, guys, just remember that's real. That stuff really happens, and so no matter where we go, we've always got hope. So, just wanted to share that before we get going today. That remember, when everything I share, whatever we go through, it's a spiritual war we're in, and so knowing that, okay, let's get into it. So I thought about something today with all that's going on. And I mean, things are ramping up. Look at this. I mean, Netanyahu's here today, and look, I mean, they cleared out an entire highway for him to show up, and everybody's noticing how weird this is. That's just pretty crazy. You don't usually see that. You might see an entourage, but look at that entourage. This is for Netanyahu visiting the White House. Now, we know there's been a lot of stuff going on with Iran. Like, we're on the verge of that. I have a feeling this is about that. But, you know, and all the Israel tards are like, oh, he's coming to tell Trump what to do. Yeah, okay. But again, some's definitely going on. And seeing this and seeing all the Epstein files and everything coming out and what we're going to share tonight, it made me just think about the fact, like, we might, with things look so dark in so many ways right now, while also we're getting so many wins, but nobody's focused on those right now. Everybody's focused on the dark stuff and what's not happening. And it just made me think, like, as this is all ramping up, it made me think, like, you know what, we might finally be entering the quote unquote storm that many have been predicting for a while now. And just as a reminder, here's Trump talking about it in his first term.
This represents?
Tell us, sir.
I don't know, maybe it's the calm before the storm.
What's the storm?
Could be the calm before the storm.
What storm?
We have the world's great military people in this room, I will tell you that. And we're going to have a great evening. Thank you all for coming.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
Give us a hint of your
Thank you, everybody.
You'll find out, he ends with. For those who aren't in the know, the story is from Q Posts that the storm is coming. And the belief is always that the storm, quote unquote, would be the true D class, when things are happening, exposure's coming, people are waking up, which will lead to arrests and real change and the real final breakdown of the cabal. Well, the Epstein files have for a long time been considered and believed to maybe be that final straw, that the key to unlock it all. So people have been believing that and expecting that for quite a while. Well, as we're entering it, things definitely are ramping up. And so look at what's starting to happen as these files come out. Oh, wrong one, guys. Sorry. I'm gonna end on that stuff. We're gonna go to Epstein. Look at this. The biggest streamer in the world is now sharing Q posts. Remember I posted the video the other night as I talked about it and then I cut it, about Bill Maher saying we got to apologize to the Q people. They were right. Well, now we have the largest streamer in the world, Asmongold, who's got a way bigger audience than Bill Maher and most news channels, saying that Q is right about everything. Posting this as he's looking at it. Now, I don't care if you believe in Q or not. That's not the point. When people say Q is right, they're talking about the pedophile cabal that runs everything. They're saying that's right. That's what most people associate, even though the Q stuff was about much, much more than that. And by the way, as somebody who's studied the Q stuff extensively, this is all tracking. And if it's proven that all the Q stuff is true and that continues to be true, there's a lot more coming. A lot more. We're barely there. So, but look at this. Then we have people like Isaiah Carter, Trump hater but conservative, says, my previous Trump derangement syndrome had me supporting pure evil. In other words, by hating Trump, I was supporting evil, and now he's woken up. And now he's been very out there, outspoken the last couple of days. See, people have been watching these Epstein files expecting Trump to be busted in them and getting sorely disappointed. And it keeps, as more and more comes out, Trump gets more and more vindicated, including last night when the posts were discovered that Trump had made the phone call in 2006 to bust Epstein, calling Ghislaine Maxwell evil and looking more and more like he's the actual hero in the story. And this reminds, going back to the Q post right here, Sometimes you can't tell the public the truth, you must show them. Only then will people find the will to change. Crimes against children unite all humanity across party lines, difficult truths. It's true. I mean, we all hate this, except for the craziest of the crazies, and we don't even talk to them. But think of how this is uniting people. It's waking people up. It's the demanding of more, the demanding of exposure. And the Trump administration keeps playing it. A lot of people are saying they're doing a terrible job on this, but the more I think about it, they're doing it perfect. Because the less they act like they care about it, the more they try to play it down, the more people are interested, because they keep thinking he's hiding something. And yet every time something comes out, it just is more vindicating. It's a wild timeline we're in. An absolutely crazy timeline. Yesterday, actually, Massey and Ro Khanna said they were going to start naming names. Well, it happened today. Ro Khanna came out and named 6 men likely incriminated in the Epstein files from reading the unredacted files. And again, I told you guys last night, there is going to be very few names that actually matter. And that's exactly what we're already seeing, at least in an American sense. They matter, but not in the sense like this is changing our lives, our political trajectory. And what they're going to keep doing, they're going to keep digging and finding more and more names that aren't ultimately going to change much. And eventually we're going to have to get back, because right now what they're trying to do is keep the focus off the names that matter the most. Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, Bill Gates, other celebrities. I mean, there's a lot of names. Those are probably the 3 biggest. But then there's some power brokers behind the scenes. Ehud Barak, the British Crown, the monarchy is a big one in all this. So all that's happening, and that's they don't want to focus on that yet. So they're scrambling and trying to find everything. But the more and more of this comes out, it's going to be more and more disappointing. And so we're going to have to start focusing on the big stuff. And that's coming around. We're not there yet, but it's coming. But he named some names. Salvatore Nuara, I don't know who that is. Zurab Mikoladze, I don't know. Leonov. These sound like, being all European, probably traffickers. That's how they got involved with Epstein. But Nicola Caputo, that name sounds familiar, but I might just be thinking of Caputo from Fox News. Sultan Ahmed bin Salem, I know that name again, but again, not that important to us for what we're interested in. And Les Wexner, which, by the way, every single person who's been following the Epstein stuff for the last 5 years already knew Les Wexner was in there. He's basically the guy who bankrolled Epstein. He gave Epstein, the reason Epstein had the biggest mansion in New York City, and I'm not even joking when I say that, he legit had the biggest, or at least one of the biggest in New York City, is because Les Wexner gave it to him. I think it was like a $90 million mansion, just gifted it to him, So Wexner was his bankroller. And I believe Wexner is, Abercrombie and Fitch, like that guy. There's some dark stuff about Abercrombie and Fitch and some of his other clothing companies. But anyways, in this post says, it's funny how he and Massey think they are forcing the release of this information. Trump wants it. He's forcing it. He's dripping it, but must remain neutral. I can tell you 100% for certainty, absolutely 0% of this would have come out if Trump had not been elected, despite what this retard says, which we all know is true. If Biden had stayed elected, we never would have gotten any of this. So it keeps coming out. Drip, drip, drip. Names that matter, but not as much for us, not for what the American people want. And we're not going to get that big name that shocks everybody, because we've already got them. And they just want to pretend they're not there. They just want to try to steer us away. Focus on all these redactions, which, by the way, we're learning more and more what the redactions actually are. First of all, Massey named those, and not Massey. Ro Khanna named these, which nobody cares. And those are supposed to be like a big bombshell, which is why he did it. But we're learning that most of the redactions are names from women who are automatically redacted. So listen to this. Massey on the naughty little girl email. Do you guys remember that email from the other night? I don't know if I shared it because I didn't want to share the super dark stuff, but thank you for a fun night. Your littlest girl was a little naughty. Redacted. Well, it was a woman. And apparently the DOJ's redaction algorithm, which he's wrong about this was earlier. We now know that the FBI was the one doing the redactions. They handed them to the DOJ, and the DOJ just trusted it. It was just like, okay. And so it was the FBI who did the vast majority of the redactions, which is interesting and important because the FBI is still got a lot more bad guys in there than the DOJ. The DOJ has been mostly purged. The FBI is larger. It's taken a little more time. The DOJ's reaction algorithm blacks out every female name. Think about what that means. If anyone can hide behind the assumption that women equals victim, accountability becomes impossible. Some women in the files are survivors, some were active participants. Treating them identically protects the guilty. It has to be a better framework than redact all women. So that's what they're finding out, is most of the redactions are women who were auto-redacted because they were women. Why? Because it's 3 million files and they don't have the manpower. And they said, okay, here's a quick way to get rid of this. And I'm going to go a little bit further and say, instead of every female name, they probably had names of victims, Susie, Virginia, Josephine, whatever the women's names were. And they probably said, okay, we see this victim's name, redact every one of those names in all these files. Because that's how you can redact go through 3 million files and try to protect victims without one by one doing it. You know how long it'd take to go through 3 million files and redact them all? I mean, I work in marketing. I do digital stuff all day long. It would take freaking forever. Okay. Even if you're like, you got to look at every day. Good luck. So this is the quick way to do it. And obviously it's biting them because everybody's complaining about this, but this is important because it also tells you that they weren't going through. Now I'm probably a little bit here and there, but it also tells you that a lot of the redactions might just be nothing. Or not nothing, that's the wrong thing to say, but might just not be anything we know or interesting to us. It might be people we don't know, just bad players. They still need to face justice, but it's not kind of like it's not like bring down the whole establishment kind of names. This is important to know. Okay. And, to Massey's credit, who I can't stand them, they're actually admitting this. And I bet they're admitting it out of being disappointed. Because I'm telling you right now, I keep getting this, and people keep hitting me up in my comments. But Massey got the names. He's doing the stuff. What do you not like about it? Dude, even if he's accomplishing something good, quote unquote, accomplishing something good, his motive is not good. This is all about Trump. They never thought they were going to get it passed. People have such short memories. In December, right before this was passed, this was barely going to pass the House. All the Republicans were going to vote against it except for a couple. It was going to slide through with like 1 or 2 votes barely getting through the House. The Senate was ready to block it, because you were going to need 60 votes in the Senate to pass it through. The Republicans were easily going to block it. And then even if it had somehow squeaked through the Senate, Trump could have vetoed it. And then it'd be dead in the water, and they would be able to weaponize it against Trump for the next 3 years. Trump didn't show the files. He's hiding something. He vetoed it. He got the Republicans to vote against it. That's what they wanted. That's what they wanted. They wanted to have this in their tool belt to use against the Trump administration for the next 3 years. And instead, on the eve, right before the vote, an hour or two before the vote, I mean, it was that close, Trump posts, to hell with it, release them all. I support this. I hope every Republican votes for it. Rug pull time, baby. The House votes for it. For every single House Republican votes for it except one, Every Democrat votes for it. The Senate passes it through within an hour of the House passing it, which never happens. And then Trump signs it the next day. That is lightning fast legislating, folks. That never happens. And they did it because Trump pulled the rug on them. And now they're in a place where it's constantly, how do we make this, how do we make Trump look bad in this? They're stuck. And all that keeps coming out is Democrats looking bad, influencers looking bad. Steve Bannon, we're about to get to you. So some people in the Republican sphere getting outed, the MAGA sphere getting outed. Very few, though. Mostly Democrats and politicians on the Democratic side, like power broker types, billionaire types that vote left. Oh, and by the way, this entire time as more and more keeps coming out, Trump looks better and better. Epstein hated him, plotting against him with Michael Wolff, with Steve Bannon, plotting against Trump. The files coming out, Trump busting Epstein, calling him out in 2006. It just keeps blowing up in their faces, but they have to keep figuring out, how do we weaponize this against Trump? So they're trying everything they can. Oh, the DOJ needs to redact more. What are you guys hiding? Well, I'll tell you what they're hiding. They're hiding these kind of names, which really don't mean much to anybody. Oh, and by the way, Todd Blanche, Assistant Attorney General to Pam Bondi, came out and said, oh, this was a mistake. We would not have redacted these. That was the FBI. So they unredacted them and said, go for it. No big deal. Oh, and who else was redacted? Turns out it's mostly just the women auto-redacted. We're working on unredacting them. So, guys, it really is going to get to the point where it's just the victims. They're already doing it. And yet they got to push this narrative because they have nothing left. These are blowing up in their faces, and they're trying so hard to keep using this against them. Now, Elon Musk putting this out there. Says most of the child victims turned into traffickers themselves by Epstein after age 18, making them commit crime with him. Epstein ensured their silence more than any NDA possibly could. They should be offered amnesties in order to testify. What did I tell you guys last night? A lot of the victims were also used to get other girls. Well, as MJ Truth Ultra puts it together so brilliantly, says we know what he's referring to. This is a reference to Rachel Chandler. Chandler, child handler. Records become unsealed, much will be revealed. Watch for Rachel Chandler. Buddies with all the Hollywood elites. Buddies in pictures with Bill Clinton. This is the girl who got girls signed to modeling contracts and then would get them raped, prostituted, trafficked, and then turn them into handlers. It says this one case is the ability to bring down many rich and powerful people. They make current, former, enslaved children famous. Hollywood's filled with them. Find the loudest voices. And here's a little on Rachel Chandler. Chandler, child handler. These people are sick. We have this pictures down here from Q. This one case is the ability to bring down the many rich and powerful people, those who scream the loudest. They made many current, former, enslaved children famous. Hollywood filled with them. Models, find the loudest voices. Brainwashed, who was adopted, who was born in. They thought the sheep would follow the stars. It's all coming out, guys. It's all coming out. And it's one step at a time. But this is the stuff that matters. So as Rachel Chandler gets exposed, that's where we'll start getting a little bit more names because of her connections. They might not be in the files, but it opens up the door to pursue what she's into. Oh, this is interesting. Reid Hoffman, the big Epstein guy, all over those files. Fat, slob, disgusting pig. LinkedIn founder. It's why I hate LinkedIn. I don't want to ever use it because I know this guy's associated with it. Silicon Valley mogul. connected to many, many people in Silicon Valley, just the worst. He's mentioned the files 2,600 times, spent time on the island, but he somehow on the Super Bowl is the one who funded the victims video to go after the Epstein files and Trump for not putting it all out there. We the victims want to see Epstein. We the victims. We want full transparency. Go after Trump. This guy was behind that ad. What do you think the game is he's playing? Who are these women working with him? Real victims? Likely not. Likely not. Likely just out for a paycheck, controlled by the opposition. But this is the kind of crazy stuff that you need to have in your back pocket when somebody's like, I saw that terrible ad at the Super Bowl. Oh my God, I can't believe Trump isn't helping those victims. It's so disgusting. Can you believe him? And you say, you know who that was funded by? It was funded by one of the worst people in the world. One of Epstein's best buddies. Went to the island several times. Yeah, that's who it was bankrolled by. So where are we at? Well, we got Kirill Dmitriev. Remember, he's intelligence, Russian. I don't know if he's actually Russian intelligence, but he's definitely playing a role here. Talking, spreading information, got connections to Putin. Anna Polina Luna tweeted out today, Trump didn't play their game. He helped expose it. And when they couldn't blackmail him, they tried to smear him, which is where we're at right now. And he writes, Trump has been fighting the satanic wing of the liberal West. What we just have Putin say not that long ago? Oh, the European leaders, they're cannibals, satanic cannibals. Yeah, Putin knows. The Russian leaders know. That's why they all hate Russia so much. Still, Russia's trying to end this crap. And this guy knows Trump is part of that as well. Tom Luongo writes, we knew this, talking about the files confirming Trump was a whistleblower. Whole Epstein files saga is one big sting operation to expose those working with our enemies to take down Trump in the U.S. Let me say that again. The entire Epstein files saga, one big sting operation to expose those working with our enemies to take down Trump in the U.S. Bing! I'll drink to that. How long have I been saying that? If you guys were watching my show last summer, do you guys remember? In fact, I still haven't gotten back viewers from last summer when I was telling everybody, chill with the Epstein stuff. I lost so many people over the Epstein stuff. Oh, dude, Trump is a pedophile. I can't believe you defend him. This is it. I'm done with MAGA. I'm done. This is too far. And I was like, chill, guys. Chill. He's the hero in the story. Well, now I've been completely vindicated, especially after last night's what they found. Now it's ABC News is reporting that Trump was the whistleblower. So, you know, it's the price of being right, no matter what, against all odds when people are trying to pressure you otherwise. Sometimes you lose people in the short term. And I might lose people over my next segment as I expose Bannon more. But I'm sorry, guys. I'd rather be right and good before the Lord and before people, being honest, because some of us just knew. Because again, I've said it 100 times over the last 3 years. If I've found that trusting Trump always pays off. And so I'm not going to trust anybody else over him. I trust other people, but if they come to heads with Trump, I trust Trump. And it works out every freaking time. You guys want the easy cheat code to understanding global politics right now? Trust Donald Trump. I know it's weird. I know some people just can't get over what they dislike about him, but it's the freaking truth. It's the freaking truth. Moody says, I kept the best subscribers. That's right. I kept the best members. Amen. The loyals are still here. The ones who get it are still here. But man, this is wild. But I said this last summer. This is a sting operation. He'll rug pull him. Well, what happened? December, he rug pulled him. Yesterday, completely vindicated. He was already vindicated in the files time and time again, but last night was the big one. The whistleblower one finally came out, and that's the big one. Trump's completely innocent, and not only that, he's the hero in this story, because now we have the narrative with receipts that he kicked Epstein out. He whistle blew on him. He helped the attorneys, was the only guy to help the attorneys, helping the victims. He caught Epstein when he was president, and on his watch, the files came out. Those 5 things are completely provable. We have all the evidence now we need, and they completely vindicate Trump that he's completely innocent and is actually the hero in the story. And if you go back to my videos from last summer, I actually did a video called Trump's the Hero in the Story, and people didn't want to believe it, but I'm just telling you. He says this was never about transparency and accountability. It was always about ensuring the old empire stayed in power. Yep. So now the whole Bannon crowd, Tom Luongo doesn't like Bannon. Whole Bannon crowd can piss back off to hell they respond from, where he doesn't mean the fans. He means the influencers around Bannon. So now we're ever closer to dismantling the edifice of lies tried to turn the U.S. into the exact thing it was birthed to oppose. Amen. And I agree with Luongo that we're at a turning point right now. We're at a turning point. Again, going back to the beginning, or close to the beginning, I think we're entering that storm. And that storm is going to be more and more exposure, which leads to awakening, which leads to arrest, which leads to and not just arrest. It's going to be backroom deals that we won't see, but it'll end careers. It'll pull these people out of power. There'll be replacements in politics and media and power stations across the world. You name it. It's already happening in Britain. Mandelson, their main financial guy, already down because of the files. Larry Summers, Harvard guy, stepped down from everything. Things are happening from the Epstein files, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. Just because it's not what you want to see yet, and obviously I'm not targeting all you guys, I'm talking in general, but just because it's not what people want to see yet doesn't mean stuff's not happening. It's already happening, and it's only going to accelerate. That is the world system they had toppling, and it's going to keep coming out, and it's going to keep accelerating. Now, we got to get to Bannon. I don't want to do this. I don't. I hate that this keeps looking worse and worse for Bannon. I told you guys last night, there is now only 2 options for Bannon. He was picked as like the secret agent guy. Go in, get close to Epstein, help us expose this stuff, and play your role. Be the spy. That's one. The other is that he has been defrauding MAGA this whole time for his own kicks, his own power broking he's doing, and he's been sabotaging Trump from behind. These are the only options. These are the only options. There is nothing else. And so you got to see as I go through this. By the way, after last night, if anybody who watched last night's show with all the evidence I brought out, if anybody thinks there's a third option, please tell me. I'd love to hear it, but I just don't think it's possible. And after this, I believe that'll be continued. David asked, do I think Trump will can Howard Lutnick? No. Trump and Lutnick are very close. Trump will know if there's anything bad with Lutnick, or if he just made his mistake. Trump will know. And so they're long-time friends. So if Trump doesn't can Lutnick, it means Lutnick's fine. And he's not going to Trump him. Can Trump undo the pardon Bannon received? No. He doesn't need to. See, Trump's playing a game with Bannon too. And let me put it this way. If Bannon is the secret agent for Trump, then the pardon, everything makes sense. Dropping the DOJ case, all that makes sense. And it's easy. It makes easy sense. But when you're looking at the Epstein stuff, when you're looking at that, plus the fact that it's mostly Bannon, people close to Bannon who are doing the most blackpilling right now. Barris, Mitchell, even Bannon himself starting to do stuff. I saw Natalie Winters tonight she was on with Mark on Two-Way, and she was very negative towards the Trump administration. in very subtle ways. These are supposed to be the most pro-Trump people. Why aren't they telling the truth? If they are pro-Trump, if they are pro-MAGA, if they understand Trump as Bannon's supposed to, he's supposed to be one of the closest guys to Trump. Why aren't they telling the truth? Because I'll tell you right now, what has been the big message coming out of the White House? Stop blackpilling. The White House today released, or it was yesterday, released an entire paper on their website called Stop with the Panicans. They are sending out the message, cut it out. You're hurting us. It's going to be hard with you guys doing. There's no reason at all for Bannon and all these people to be trying to tear down Trump right now. No reason at all. It doesn't help. It's turning the people, it's discouraging the people. And so if Bannon is this secret agent who's actually helping Trump and was catching Epstein, why are his people being the most discouraging place for MAGA to turn to right now? Because they're supposed to be MAGA's most trusted. Millions of people watch War Room. And all the people I know who mostly watch War Room, they're all kind of, I don't know, man. This doesn't look good. I don't know. I wish Trump, we need arrests, man. We need this. Trump needs to call out the Insurrection Act. None of it's trusting Trump at all. No, not at all. So what's really going on? All this stuff makes me not trust Bannon. I'm sorry. I got to tell you guys, I'm leaning. I'm not all the way there yet because honestly, I don't want to go there unless I have to. But I'm definitely leaning towards the fact that I think Bannon might be opposition. And it's becoming more and more likely. I'll say that. Christina Abbott says Barbara on the Promethean channel thinks Bannon's a genuine patriot. I know. I heard her say that the other day, and she said he's a patriot, but he's just wrong sometimes. That's fine. She can believe that. Or maybe she's doing that so she doesn't lose some of her audience. I don't know. But she also said that before all this stuff came out. But the Promethean Action ladies, I love them. I agree with most of what they say. Some of what they say, I disagree with, and that's okay. That's free thinking. Tom Luongo, I love 99% of what he says. Occasionally I disagree with him. I have a lot of people I listen to that are genuine patriots on the right track in the right direction, and there's still disagreements within them. I watched a wonderful podcast over the weekend with Dave Collum talking about these elites. He had so many great points. I loved it. He was tracking with so many things, the Epstein files and so much else. But then he got into a couple of things where I was like, I just can't agree with you there. So let's go through some of this stuff. Larry Summers. Yeah, that Larry Summers, the one who just got kicked out of all of his jobs, all of his, he was a Harvard president. All of this, his career completely ruined because of Epstein. Yeah, very close to Epstein. Bad news, okay? So, again, it might be one of those things where him calling Bannon evil is a good thing. Maybe. He said Larry Summers firmly told Epstein his wife Lisa refuses to allow Bannon at their home, labeling Bannon as evil while offering to meet Epstein alone or elsewhere needed. Now, this can mean a lot of things. It can mean that Larry Summers knew Bannon was worse. Larry Summers hated Bannon because he didn't know him and didn't know him and Epstein were friends and just thought he was the guy doing War Room, working for Trump. Maybe he hated him because of that. I don't know. There's several reasons this could be. But it's very interesting, isn't it? That this one evil guy hated the other evil guy. I got to say, how bad do you have to be, or how much do you got to hate somebody in order to not even see them? We see a lot of these guys that said they hated each other. They're still hanging out. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, Pam, I covered that about Elon last night. See, it says you're right. This is before a lot of this came. Yeah, it was last week they were talking about that. So, Dilly has been going after Bannon hard with this stuff coming out of Epstein, and Bannon's War Room has blocked him. It's interesting because I don't know, man. like last night in my video, Steve could say something about this. He could come out. He doesn't have to come out and say he was working for Trump trying to catch Epstein. That's fine. I don't need that. That's, you know, if you're behind the scenes, if you're doing stuff, I don't need that from you. That's fine. But could you at least come out and say, listen, I was talking to Epstein. I was trying to get him on my side for my documentary. Use that angle. I knew he hated Trump. I was just trying to play that angle. Give me something, Steve. Give me something. You have to address this stuff. It is so overwhelming. I did an entire hour on it last night. I don't do an hour on anything, but there was so much. And now there's so much more. I'm going to be doing another 20 minutes on it because there's just too much. Steve, please, can you tell us, or are you just going to block me too? Not that you even know who I am. It'd be kind of an honor to be blocked by Steve Bannon, honestly. It'd mean they recognize me. But the point is this. Why is he doing this? This looks weak. We're all on the same team, aren't we? Aren't we all MAGA? Don't we all want our country back? America first, Trump to win? If Dilly, who's like one of the most pro-Trump guys out there, if he's calling you out, dude, why can't you just address it? Say, yeah, it sucks I'm in the files. But let me tell you why. Give us a story, Steve. What are you running from? This is, I'm sorry, this is so shady all over it. This would be easy. You don't have to say Trump sent you. Say you lied to him for your documentary so you could get close to him and expose him. Say that, Steve. That's all we need. Lie to our faces in that way, and I'll feel a whole lot better about it. But don't keep running and pretending it's not there. You, Steve Bannon, and your team right now, Natalie Winters tonight, you sent her out on two-way. You got all like Barris and Barnes and Mitchell blowing up Twitter about transparency and how they're botching all this. And you are botching it as well. That's so hypocritical. You can't address this. It's driving me nuts. And this is the reason I'm starting to think Bannon is bad. I really do. It's just too much. It's too much. Here, let's get into it. Oh, there goes my PC. I told you guys, still praying for that new PC to come in. Brian Cates breaks it down really well. Notice Bannon doing all this chummy Epstein stuff while he was publicly on the outs with Trump and the Trump family. Gets tossed out of the White House for refusing to stop orchestrating anonymous leaks. In the fake conservative news, slandering Jared and Ivanka as traitors, stabbing the old man in the back. Trump told him to stop. Bannon didn't. He was thrown out of the White House and went on revenge tour. He says he remembered. Apparently, I'm only journalist that remembers the shit Bannon was eagerly telling mainstream fake news reporters about Trump and the Trump family from 17 to 19. Do people even remember when Bannon's war room was launched and who was at war with at the time? Bannon didn't hide this, especially when he's a key source for Michael Wolff's book, Fire and Fury, in the Trump White House, and the follow-up, Siege, Trump Under Fire. Michael Wolff, who was plotting with Epstein to end Trump. In the second book, Bannon predicted financial investigations of Trump would reveal Trump was just another scumbag. Oh, interesting. Second Wolff book came out in 2019. Bannon launched Bannon's War Room podcast October 2019. By the 20 election, hey, Bannon was back. Everything was fine. Big more MAGA than MAGA guy now. I watched this amazing transition unfold. Bannon crept back into MAGA, quickly elevated in a very influential role. There's a reason I've been telling you for years now. A lot of these people you're allowing to influence your views of Trump and his Dream Team cabinet for the past year are not who you think they are. What have I been telling you guys? And what have we seen? How many influencers have we seen kind of start falling over the last year? A lot. They're not who you think they are. Skip ahead. Trump knows exactly who Bannon is, never had illusions about it. By the way, unless Trump really did use Bannon as a secret agent, which doesn't make sense, honestly, it just falls apart the more we study this. But let's just say it's still a possibility. Why is Bannon not a part of this team? Doesn't that bother anybody else? Trump sure brought everybody else along this run, second term. Even Bongino got a year. Why isn't Bannon there at all? ask yourselves these questions. If you think I'm full of crap and Bannon's a patriot, that's fine. I'm fine with you believing that. I want to believe that too. But at some point, it just doesn't add up anymore. Bannon tries to sell anonymously sourced slop stories several times a week where clueless Trump has no idea what's going on. They do this all the time. I heard Natalie Winter say it today. Oh, Trump's advisors are giving him bad. It's always his advisors because they can't say Trump's stupid. So they have to say he's listening to the wrong people. That's what they keep doing. This sows chaos, confusion, discord, and depression. The Trump base designed to do. What's Trump's counter strategy? Go himself, send his advocates to ban his affiliates, shows to talk to the base directly. So that's why there's still some good ones going to the show because Bannon can't turn them down. All right, let's keep going. Here's some actual text been coming out. In this one, he's insulting Trump's judgment. Let's see. I might have to just rely upon his breakdown because I'm realizing this is kind of hard to see on the screen. But insults Trump's judgment, calls him stupid for considering Chris Christie, which only reinforces how stupid Trump is. Bannon, quote, to think I worked this hard for 10 years to get this psycho Chris Christie running the country. He wanted David Bossie, his ally, because it would be beyond big. I would run things. Bannon trying to get a hold of the Trump White House. Outlines plan to steal the MAGA base if Trump collapses under investigations, saying the key is to hold the base together while he gets crushed without going down with the ship. That is some scary stuff. David writes, it seems like Trump doesn't trust Bannon, but since he's saying good things about Trump, Trump doesn't mind him. I disagree. I do think Trump minds it very much, but I also think Trump's smart and knows that there are several. Right now, remember, Bannon has a very loyal listenership, very loyal. And all of those people voted for Trump. 99% of them. If Trump starts calling out Steve Bannon to his face, he will lose a good portion of those people. Because right now, Bannon has sowed the seeds. He has planted the seeds that the Trump White House is screwing up. Trump is being controlled by his bad advisors, maybe a little bit too close to Israel. This is all coming out of the Bannon camp. Where's the arrests? He's taught his base to not trust Trump fully, but to trust him, and to say, well, Trump is a great guy. He's doing all this, but he's got bad advisors. He's got to stop listening to him, which also puts him in the power position. Listen to me. I'm the guy. So if Trump turns on Bannon publicly, Bannon can come out and say, he's listening to his advisors. We've lost Trump. We're going to fight back. And all of a sudden, Trump loses way more of his base. So Trump can't do it. He can't. But what he can do is release the Epstein files. Remember that Q post I already shared tonight. People can't be told, they must be shown. And that's what's happening right now. Pam writes, Bannon wanted Elon out from the beginning. Maybe Elon knew the truth. I think that's exactly part of it. Flynn and Roger Stone, just as bad. I am not a truster of Flynn or Roger Stone. I'll say that right now. There's, we'll talk about that another time. So anyways, let's keep going. This one's pretty crazy. So this is, the blue is Epstein. This is Bannon, the gray. Epstein writes, Bannon says, Rudy part of 2. So Rudy Giuliani. Ivanka, your nemesis. That's Trump's daughter. His daughter. He's calling him his nemesis. Jared and Junior timing. So that's Jared and Dawn. Steve Bannon, they are the intervention. Epstein, no serious group. All realize crisis and worried, understand players. Smart, says Bannon. And He writes, it includes the guys he talks to normally. As usual, he doesn't realize they also talk to each other, saying one thing to another thing to ... Motivation, I'm told, is good for us but bad for the country. Brennan's description of drunk power seems, I think APT is appropriate. John Brennan, CIA guy, director under Obama, Russia. Epstein saying Brennan was right. He believes smarter. This is talking about Trump. He believes he's smarter than all of them combined. That is his issue. Unfortunately, he might be right. Bannon replies, he is, and he's still a moron. Lefrak, Roth, etc., never listen to that crew. Agreed reason he fears you. Trump fears him. Steve Bannon writes back, yep. And he thought who he would listen to seriously. So now they're trying to figure out how can we influence Trump. Ken Starr, Kissinger, Hannity, Barack, writes Bannon. Nope. Like you, Barack called him crazy. In the doghouse ever since Rick Gates. Crazy stuff. Was Hannity controlled opposition? I don't know. I wouldn't doubt it. Hannity is a total shill, old school Republican. He is in with the old school Republicans. I mean, he basically runs Fox News. Here's some more. Bannon, K. To Epstein, sends a link. CNBC, Trump's face. Surprise, surprise. Gomer. Question over. Jeffrey Epstein, he has not testified yet. The noose is getting tight. And then Bannon's last thing, I canceled my Hannity hit tonight. He was going on Hannity to do a hit piece on Trump. Canceled it. I don't understand why, but Epstein, the noose is tightening. It's clear they were plotting against Trump this whole time. This is wild stuff. How close were they? Well, here's Bannon. Thanks again to Epstein. Really terrific day. To which Epstein replies, we should do more fun things. What kind of fun things was Jeffrey Epstein doing? Obviously, they were doing something together. I don't know if it had anything to do with acid. Remember the story from last night with Steve Bannon? Epstein revealed in Epstein Files today that Epstein ordered 330 gallons of sulfuric acid. I'm sorry, but I don't know anybody other than cleaning a toilet has really used acid in their life. I throw a little bit in my pool from time to time, but 330 gallons, and then Bannon's house, it's found in the tub. How much does that take to fill up a tub? So you have two men, buddies, hanging out, both have connections to large amounts of acid. This is crazy stuff. Where are you headed to DC? My house is a small compound right behind Supreme Court that acts as a great base. Is Bannon. Cool. Sends him another story. Blah, blah, blah. Just weird how they talk to each other. So strange. And then there's this. This is nuts. Bannon and Epstein plotting to remove DOJ protections to bring criminal charges against Trump during his presidency. New released Epstein. Now, this is the kind of thing, guys, like if Bannon was behind the scenes guy going after Epstein, I mean, why get into the details of something that could actually hurt Trump, that they actually could use by influencing people up on Capitol Hill? I mean, this stuff's crazy. 2018 text exchange where the idea of having DOJ's Office of Legal Counsel withdraw its longstanding memo prohibiting the indictment of a sitting president. Epstein compares it directly how Bush-era OLC members on torture were rescinded by Steve Bradbury in 2009. Epstein jokes about Yoo memos, about John Yoo's famous torture authorization. Epstein pushes further, noting Rosenstein can do the same. Brainstorming session happened post-Bannon's White House exit after being ousted during his feud with Trump, suggesting an effort to strip away the immunity shield from Trump among the Mueller investigation. It's just crazy stuff, guys. And MJ Truth has seen so much now. He's saying What are your thoughts? Mine are not so good. Was he a mole or in cahoots? But I mean, at this time, I mean, with all this evidence, man, I don't, again, Steve, if you're listening, if you ever watch my little show here, we need answers, bro. We need answers. Give us something. 'Cause this is getting crazy. It absolutely is. Anyways. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Put it in the comments, your thoughts on all this. Who thinks, does anybody still have any true faith in Steve Bannon after this? I mean, let me just show you an example, because I keep talking about it, but I haven't shown you guys in a while. Let me just show you an example of what's coming out of the mouth of his guys. Okay. Let me bring up Barris. He's the easy. Actually, he's going to be under People's Pundit. There it is. Let me just show you how he's talking now. What excuses are we making up for this one? That's not that one. A good one. Calling out Trump's when Trump makes it's negative everything. It's like Trump makes an endorsement. It's always got to have a reason against it. Maybe it could be, maybe we could say, oh, I see why Trump's doing this, even though I don't like it. But there's none of that. There's none of that nuance. Told ya, noobs don't know how Washington works. What we said last year is unwise to waste presidency, bombing Iran, bungling Epstein. See, bungling Epstein. It's like this stuff is, it's just now they're mocking people. Please, bro, Democrats are insane. We got to win this one, bro. They probably didn't need too many children. Nobody thinks there's evidence. How can we win if nobody trusts the system? It's nonstop. It's been nonstop forever. Now they're defending Massey, this Viva Frey, Thomas Massey on the Epstein files. Massey's proven to be Trump's savior. Who talks like this? Barrett says, yeah, it looks like he got set up, coming out looking like, are you kidding me? This is so stupid. If an election were held today between Trump and Biden would win. If people were actually voting against the corpse of Biden, if they actually saw him standing next to Trump, there's no way in hell that would win. But we don't get that nuance. We don't get him explaining. Doesn't change the fact Biden would win. Yeah, it would. Biden would never win against Trump. Never again after what the people have gone through. But yeah, you took a poll and it said like some people remember Biden more fondly right now than are happy with Trump. And so all of a sudden Biden would beat Trump in an election without any of the nuance of what actually happens in an election. How people go against each other. It's so stupid. This is the kind of crap his people are saying. How on earth is this helpful? This is depressing people. Well, this guy says it right here. It's depressing. This is discouraging the MAGA base, and they are doing it every day, non-stop. It is post after post after post all day, just making fun of this. Like, they're not laughing at us. They're laughing at Trump too. Nothing encouraging at all. There are ways to prevent this from happening. Republicans aren't interested in them. It's always negative. Everything is negative. Barnes Law, which Barnes is a total hack. Being this right on steroids about this Epstein is not an enjoyable experience for us. We would have loved to be proven wrong. Yeah, sure you would. Being right on steroids, they're not even right. But there's no nuance. And that's all Bannon's camp. It's just doom, doom, doom. So people writing in right now. Mike Mishler says, I don't think Bannon's ever been good. TLS says, I remember Cappy called out Bannon. That's right, he did. Yeah. David says, if I was doing secret society stuff, I'd F it up so fast I'd forget to talk in code all the time. Fair. Tammy Anderson, trust Trump. Nick Majors, Bannon seems like power-hungry douche. I agree. Havoc says, Bannon's a snake. I agree with you. Tammy, Steve's a plant. See, I mean, the evidence is overwhelming. I'm not wrong here, right? I mean, we all see it as I lay it out. I mean, I just don't understand the case. And I know there's some clingers there still wanting to believe that Bannon is good. because I get it, guys. I was one of you. I used to listen to War Room all the time. I loved that show. During the Biden years, man, like listening to Bannon gave me hope. We were fighting. But man, he's been so wrong about some stuff. Remember, he was saying like the Republicans were going to sweep the midterms with like 100-seat majority that'd last 100 years. That didn't even come close to happening. I mean, Bannon has, I mean, that's when I stopped listening to him all the time. After that point, I was like, well, I like him, but he's wrong. But wrong in a good way, you know, like too optimistic. Well, now it's the opposite. He's just tearing down Trump, but he's doing it in a very smart way, clever way, all the time. You know, Havoc says Republicans are weak and spineless. Oh yeah, they are. Well, I've talked about that many times. It's because most of them are still uniparty. Most of them are still old school Republicans. And until we weed them out, the Republican Party will still remain weak. But the Trump administration is not weak. It's Congress. If Congress was strong right now, guys, do you understand how much more would be happening? Because it's Congress's, remember, co-equal branches. Congress is actually Article 1. They're supposed to be more powerful. So if Congress was strong, we would have all these judges that keep knocking Trump back. That would be done. They would have gone after him. They would have impeached all these judges. That's number one. Number two, we would have had a whole bunch of stuff already passed. It would have been legislation after legislation. They would have been so excited to have a president working with them. So that would have all gone down. We would have nuked the filibuster. Gone. We would be thriving. So before anybody gets mad at Trump, what Trump has pulled off in the first 13 months of his second term is nothing short of a miracle. He has done so much. He said the other day, they were asking about the reconciliation bill, and he was like, well, probably not going to happen because of Congress, obviously. And he said, but the good news is I got everything I needed in the first bill. So Trump got the big, beautiful bill through that funded most of his legislative agenda for this. I mean, obviously, we still want other stuff done, like the SAVE Act, but he knows how corrupt Congress is. So he strong-armed them when he was at the peak of his powers to fund his entire term. It is brilliant. It's brilliant. And we're going to go to the economy here in a minute. I'm going to show you how it's already working. But the big things right now are hold up the tariffs, which SCOTUS will find a way to do, and the SAVE Act. We get those through, then Trump can keep focusing on justice. The weak Congress is the reason he doesn't have all of his lawyers in. There's still like 60 vacancies in federal prosecutors. Congress's fault, not Trump's fault. Okay, so all this stuff, like the DOJ understaffed because of Congress. Not getting federal prosecutors, Congress. You know, all this stuff slows down Trump. So everything you guys are upset, or not, and I mean by you guys, I mean all the stuff most people are upset about, it's all Congress's fault. Trump has been masterful on foreign policy. He's been masterful on the economy, and the justice stuff is happening. It's just rolling slower than we'd like it to. But that's their fault. Okay? That's their fault. So please, like, just like Havoc said, it's Congress's fault. It's not Trump's. What's up, Dirty Red? Yeah, Thune is just a joke right now. Okay, let's get. I'm starting to have some hope that the SAVE Act's going to get through, but it's going to be. Yeah, Dirty Red, you're right. None of his executive orders have been codified. Why? Congress. Again, it's all Congress's fault. It's not Trump's fault. He's doing everything he can to get stuff done. And I'm telling you, his administration's strong. They are strong. His cabinet is very strong. Okay. There might be a couple bad eggs in the aides or in some of the lesser positions, but those closest to Trump are very strong. And they might make mistakes, but they're not bad eggs. He vetted all of them. He had 4 years to vet them, and he knew exactly what he's doing. And by the way, he got all of his first choices through, except for Matt Gaetz. But Matt Gaetz quit after 2 days. He didn't even do the fight, which tells me that was just to get Gaetz out of the House of Reps. I don't think Gaetz was ever going to actually be Attorney General or fight for it. Okay, we need to look at this because now after we've just done all this bad news and betrayal and MAGA falling apart, let's look at what's actually going right. And what I told you guys was happen is already happening. Look at this. I think I would say the criticism of Bondi is the most fair, even though I disagree with it. But I'll say let's hold out on Bondi until we see the end game here. I think Bondi's hands have been tied with litigation in a lot of ways, and that's why we haven't seen everything we want out of the DOJ. But she's been doing an incredible job winning cases at the Supreme Court. I'll just say that. So anyways, there's a conversation to be had about Bondi, but it's too early to have it. Let me put it that way. Okay, look at this.
During the winter doldrums, restaurant workers aren't exactly rolling in the dough. Many getting their tax returns done early, hoping for a quick refund. But this year, they're finding out their refund checks will be bigger, much bigger.
Several folks have already filed their taxes and have already seen substantial increases of anywhere between $1,500 to $2,500 increase in their tax.
Did you hear that? Regular people getting $1,500 to $2,500 more on their tax returns. Restaurant workers. Guys, this is going to wake up a lot of people to Trump. These are young people. These are lower class people, a lot of them. They are working class people. And if you're a working class person making, say, 40 grand a year, living in an apartment, $2,500 in a one shot extra on your tax return, that could change your whole year. That's money that gives you, maybe you get your car fixed finally, or you go put the down payment on a new used car, but still new for you. Like, this is the kind of thing that moves people ahead a little bit. And I know, because I lived that life for years. When I was making 30 grand a year with my family, getting $2,000 extra back from the federal government at my tax time would have been amazing. I would have been so stoked. These people need that money. And a lot of that money is going to go in the economy. I love it.
Return this year.
Tax experts say this is because President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act made more than 100 changes to the tax code.
You swing by.
Think of all the people, these people at this level, who don't really pay attention to politics. They flip through Instagram. They get the nonsense spewed to them from the liberal algorithms. That maybe they're on TikTok. A few of them are on X. Most of them don't pay attention. They just know Donald Trump became president. Some of us voted for him. Some of us didn't. But listen, oh my God, 1 year of, and now one year of Trump, and already I'm getting text. And listen, the way this happened is kind of the best way. So last year, Bissett talked about this, because the tax law passed in the middle of the year. Because of that, most of these workers, their W-2s weren't adjusted. So the money kept getting taken out of their checks. So now they're getting big refunds. Well, guess what? On top of the big refund, now every week their W-2s have been adjusted. So now their weekly paycheck is higher too. So not only do they get an injection of cash, they get higher paycheck the rest of the year. Now, yeah, next year their refund won't be as high again, because this time more was taken out. But I'm telling you, this is a year where they're going to be making more money for the entire year. And it starts with this boom. That was no tax on tips. Check out this lady's story
big, beautiful.
With the overtime.
Trump's big, beautiful bill promised no taxes on overtime. My husband works 6 days a week as a machinist at Anheuser-Busch so that I can stay home and raise our 3 kids that are all under 5. Big, beautiful bill just made it so that he did not have to pay taxes on any of that overtime. Our refund is huge this year. Thank you, President Trump. You came through. We just got a fat, fat check coming our way.
There it is, baby. So what did I tell you guys? I told you this was going to happen. Now it's happening. The first round of people getting their checks back. And this is going to happen through April. So we have 3 months of people getting that money back. Give me that money. Boom, 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 with higher paychecks throughout the year. We are going to start seeing a turnaround on Trump's approval. Now, I'm not saying it's going to shoot up 10 points overnight, but it'll stabilize and start creeping up a little bit, especially if the rest of the economy continues to move forward. And the Epstein files keep proving him right. This is the Epstein stuff. Everybody's acting like it's over and it's a big disappointment. No, it's just begun. It's just begun. I don't think Bannon's still with Trump, Tammy. But that's another, I mean, I've gone through it. If you've watched my show the last 2 nights, you understand. Pam says, my daughter's a waitress, kind of wish-washy on politics. I told her she'd see the light when she gets her taxes. Amen. Amen. In New Jersey, $1,000 is almost a third of your monthly rent. I mean, that sucks. But that's 1 month where people are doing feeling a lot better. So that does mean something. Okay, let's go through a couple of the other things on the economy. So manufacturing was down the last couple of months, but it's not as simple as it looks. Why everybody is like, why isn't manufacturing up? Why is it not up? All this investment. I thought Trump said tariffs would make manufacturing get up. Well, yeah, it takes time. Here's why. 22-month trend. So this started before Trump, the downfall in manufacturing. Sweatshops can't survive paying more than $7 an hour. So our current manufacturing system is all designed to hire designed to hire illegals and also get stuff from across the sea. We're building a new base here. It's going to take a year or two. We'll start seeing it a little bit this year, but it'll really ramp up starting next year. But anyways, that's just important to notice. This is huge. So Carolyn Levin announced today from Lee Zeldin, who's EPA commissioner, rescission of the 2009 Obama-era endangerment finding will be the largest deregulatory action in American history and will save the American people $1.3 trillion in crushing regulation. This is the thing that has crushed the auto industry, made cars super expensive. It's the reason why if you have a newer car, which I'm sorry if you do, it's the reason why they stop every single time you stop and turn off the engine. This is what Obama's regulations have done. 2009, he got it through, and they just pulled it back. And they can do this without Congress because it's because they struck down the Chevron doctrine. Thank you, SCOTUS. Right before Trump came into office, struck down the Chevron doctrine. So now they can just cut regulations that aren't law. And so they're doing it. And this is one of the biggest ones yet. So American people going to save a lot. This will start making cars cheaper and better again, among a lot of other things. So that's a huge win. As Lee Zeldin wrote right here, get ready to join President Trump to announce the single largest act of deregulation in the history of the USA. Beautiful stuff. Getting rid of all that climate crap. Trump this last week got Trump RX up and is now cutting out middlemen's PBMs who tack billions on the cost of drugs. Part of the deal is cutting drug costs, in some cases 80 to 90%. Healthcare is a very deep swamp, lovingly built by lobbyists that starts to drain it. You know what's happening with the health industry is little by little, Trump is taking the healthcare industry back to being privatized. He's doing it little bits at a time, and he's using the government to do it, which I know a lot of my fellow hardcore conservatives, Tea Party types in the old days would not like. They'd be like, this is socialism. Well, no, it's not socialism when you're using the government to deregulate, when you're using the government to break up the what basically was socialized medicine. So yeah, I know Trump RX is run by the government, blah, 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 blah. But what they've done is they've cut out all the red tape, all the crap that was keeping our stuff out, as well as negotiating with other countries with the tariffs to get it down. This stuff is great. This is great stuff. And prescription drugs, baby. Go to Trump RX and see if you can find whatever you need. And just look at the price. It's pretty incredible stuff. Steel. I had somebody last year be like, I can't believe he's putting tariffs on steel. It's just going to make everything more expensive. Well, Sean Davis reports, I talked to a senior U.S. steel company executive this weekend. He said business was booming. 2 reasons for this. Economy is finally recovering from Biden recession. And 2, Trump's tariffs eliminated price advantage foreign producers had due to illegal subsidies from foreign governments. The tariffs removed subsidies from other governments that was falsely keeping their steel cheaper. Tariffs didn't make prices go up. They eliminated the ability of foreign producers to sell below cost. Now leveled the playing field. American steel companies are back. Guys, we will see a couple things raise for like once in price, but they will stabilize. And then what's going to happen, better jobs, better wages, and we're going to see deflation across a bunch of other stuff. As energy gets cheaper, which, by the way, California is fighting hard right now to crush oil prices nationwide by shutting down their refineries. But hopefully Trump figures that out. So, but still with everything else, energy will continue to decline over the next few years. We have the stabilization of inflation, which now is under 1% according to Trueflation. Even though the CPI disagrees, but Trueflation is more accurate. It's inflation's way down. Cheaper energy will make all this other stuff cheaper. People will be able to innovate again as deregulations. We already saw, I was telling you guys, deregulation is going to power the economy. Well, we just got that huge deregulation, 1.3 trillion saving the economy. All this is going to cause deflation in goods and food and energy. Ultimately, that'll start going to housing prices. It'll start, which is already happening because the illegals leaving. Rent's down like 15% over the last year. Guys, stuff is getting cheaper. It's not hitting so fast. People are like shocked to see it, but it is happening. And now that people are going to start getting more money thanks to the tax cuts, they're going to start noticing more and more that affordability is not going to be as much an issue to them. I'll address that at the end, guys, about Wall Street stuff. Well, speaking of Wall Street, here's Trump talking about Fed chair nominee Kevin Warsh. Just listen to what he says here. This is wild.
When did you, in your heart and mind, when did you know you wanted Kevin Warsh?
So
officially, it was 2 Fridays ago. But when did you?
Well, I made a mistake. He was runner-up, if you want to say that.
He was a finalist.
Yeah, he was, and I made a mistake because I had somebody that was.
Okay, real quick. There's been a bunch of grifter types on X sharing this and saying Trump admits he made a mistake with Kevin Warsh. That's not what he's saying. He doesn't say him by name, but if you listen to the context, Trump's clearly talking about the mistake is Powell. Okay, so listen to that right now. Just know that he's talking about Jerome Powell right now because he's about to get very positive about Warsh again.
My Secretary of the Treasury wanted him so badly. So
he's talking about Mnuchin. Steve Mnuchin, in the first term Treasury Secretary, really pushed Jerome Powell on Trump, and Trump's now saying it's a mistake.
So badly, and I didn't feel good about him, but sometimes you listen to people, and it was a mistake. It was really a big mistake, but I think we're going to do something that's really spectacular. We should be at 15%. I'll tell you, if our new head of the Fed, who I think is going to be great, and
see, they just completely changed the narrative. As the new head of the Fed, I think is going to be great.
He's a really high quality person, but if he does the job that he's capable, we can grow at 15%. I think more than that.
When did you?
Okay. So what Trump just said is crazy, but if it's even close to true, he's been right about so many other things. Tariffs. Dow hitting 50,000. I mean, he called out all that stuff. It's all happened. If he's right about this, because already the economy has been going way higher than most people expected. I mean, we're going to get over 5% in Q4 last year. We're going to finish the year, his first year in office, with all that he inherited from Biden. The whole year is going to be over 3%. That's amazing. And this year we could see 7-8%. If what he's saying with Warsh is true, and they get, first of all, tariffs have to be upheld by the Supreme Court. But then if the interest rates go down and that supercharges the economy, if we saw 15% in 1 year or even a quarter and say the year was 10%, guys, you have no idea. We've never seen anything like that in our lives. We're talking like 1951 after the manufacturing boom of World War II kind of growth levels, like stuff we have not seen. Like, some of the really old people might have seen it, barely remember it, but that's what we're talking about. We're talking about economic boom like we can't imagine it. We don't even know what that's like. None of us have even experienced it. You get a boom like that, it is jobs over here, over here, over here. It is better jobs, pay raises, you name it. Like, things are cheap. It's just, it's awesome. So if Trump's right about this, we could see something incredible happen. But the fact he even throws it out there, 15% is nuts. Listen, I love Trump. I would be shocked if we ever saw 15%. I'd be shocked if we saw 10%. So if we even get close to that, it's gonna be booming, guys. It's gonna be boom time. And Luongo, you guys know I love, breaks things down really good right here about the. So this is our competition, Europe, which is also the Crown, which is also City of London, which is also the Cabal, which is also what we're breaking. They are the biggest enemy. I think if anybody's been watching this show, they understand that at this point. We want their economy to fail because it'll break their power up even more and help set the people free. But it'll also be very good for us because we're breaking free of that globalization. But he writes here about the tariffs. The only thing propping up the European financial markets at this point is SCOTUS has not ruled on Trump's tariffs. Every day they don't issue a judgment is another day where the odds of them overturning them drop, which I told you guys. Amount of damage it would cause at this point would be catastrophic and it's only growing. So what's really happening now is SCOTUS trying to thread the needle with opinion that says they're unhappy Trump used this mechanism, but it's not unconstitutional. Virtue signal, get it done. Won't be surprised at all if rumors John Roberts considering stepping down are true, as he was put in place to ensure the final destruction of the Constitution by being a mealy-mouthed, weak Chief Justice. Roberts likely dithering, looking for a way out, hoping Davos can get a kill shot on Trump before having to render a decision. When you hear reports like this one about what's happening in freight, you realize problem now is squarely in Davos, City of London's court, and they have no other options. Fuse has been lit on the economy. Now we're waiting for the fuse to blow up Europe. As he's talking about this right here. Significant shift happening in freight economy. Industrials are starting to ramp while imports are soft. Very different what we've seen in the past decade. So you guys can see, like, it's all kind of coming together economically, but the tariffs are the main mechanism. And of course, who hates the tariffs? Well, Thomas Massie, hey, there he is, betraying us yet again. Resolution that would have prevented the House from taking action against Trump's tariffs fails. Why does it fail? Because 3 Republicans defected. Thomas freaking Massie, Don Bacon, who hates Trump, hates him. He's one of the ones who hates Trump the most. And I don't even know who this Kevin Kiley guy is, but he's obviously a snake. Thomas Massie, though, guys, there he is again. Of course, he's trying to tear down Trump, one of his signature achievements to save our economy, trying to go after the tariffs. The tariffs are the main mechanism for powering our economy into the golden age. Trump was absolutely right about it. It's shocking how right he's been. Everything they predicted about the tariffs has been wrong. Everything. And I just got to tell you guys, like, it's amazing to watch in real time, watching how wrong Wall Street is, how wrong everybody's projections are, how amazing the economy is starting to do. And don't get me wrong, the economy's coming out of a huge, deep hole. It's still hard for most people. I'm not saying it's like, oh, I know Trump says this a lot. We're the best economy ever. I know why he says that. He's just trying to keep us on focus. It's not. It's definitely not. And we still got a ways to go, but we're getting there, and we're getting there much faster than anybody ever projected was possible. Trump is accomplishing things everybody said is impossible now. And it's because the tariffs. And of course, freaking Thomas Massie would vote to let the House, which this is setting it up. If they take the House if the Democrats take the House in November, this is the kind of votes that sets them up to go after Trump, and Massie knows it. He absolutely knows it. Speaking of, I wanted to answer somebody here. Linda Telly asked, are we close to Wall Street crash? I can tell you that BAM and the data analysts I know say right now we're in a very, very vulnerable time. It could accelerate. I will tell you as well that there's going to be a knock on the Wall Street when the tariff decision hits. In fact, I think that if it's ruled they get to stay in place, that actually could crash the markets, because One of the reasons the markets has been doing so well and so far and hasn't had the full correction is because a lot of people are still holding their money in there. Just like Luongo said with Europe, a lot of people are holding their money in just hoping SCOTUS shoots them down. So remember, this is all breaking the fake financial system, but they're clinging on for dear life. And so I do think we're still, I can't tell you when, but you guys have seen the volatility in the market. Silver, crazy. Gold, crazy. Bitcoin, crypto, crashing, crazy. And the markets just kind of barely keep moving up, a little down, but keep moving up. I have to believe that all that destabilization and other stuff is where the real war is being fought right now, kind of protecting everybody's spot in the market, but eventually it will hit the markets as well and go down. So say bye-bye to income taxes, Kessink. I hope so. Epstein noted in emails, no gold in Fort Knox. Yeah, but again, Dirty, we don't know if Epstein actually knows that. And that was also well before Trump came back, and we had a lot of gold imports when Trump first came back in. So I think there's a huge possibility Trump might have restocked it. So we just don't know. We just don't know. I just wouldn't trust an Epstein email to know for sure. Pam says, most important thing I said tonight, trust Trump. Amen. Thank you. Dirty Red, a lot of AI and robot jobs. Those will come for sure. Turn Cuba into new Las Vegas, Trump Island. That would be hilarious. David says, Thomas Massey's a very black and white thinker. I used to like Massey. I know that's what everybody wants you to believe. It's not true. It's not true. So Massey has this record that makes it look like he's always doing a bunch of great stuff. But you got to remember that 90% or more of the votes in Congress are nonsense. They're like voting to name something or voting to, somebody's birthday, celebrate their birthday. It's really dumb stuff. So when it says that he votes with Republicans 90 to 95% of the time, it's not telling the truth, because he always votes against the Trump agenda when it matters most. Always. I can't think of a single time he didn't. He even voted against the one big beautiful bill. So I think he did. I'm pretty sure he did. You might be able to find a couple votes here and there where he voted with the Trump agenda, but for the most part, he's just been a thorn in Trump's side nonstop. And what it tells me is that Massey got himself in there cozied up as a libertarian, which, by the way, libertarians, I'm more and more convinced most of them at the top in the positions of power are controlled opposition, because they really stand for nothing. And all they ever stand for is tear down whoever's in there. And that keeps them in a place of prominence, which really works for controlled opposition. Massey is controlled opposition. He always, it's like during the Biden years, when Biden needed him most, Massey was on his side. He got his budget through committee. Massey was the deciding vote. How does that line up with his conservative principles? Now, Massey he's playing a role. And his role is, you stay there, you stay planted, you build up your credentials, you act like you're super principled, because you can always say like, well, I even voted against, Republicans when they did this, and then all the libertarians, yay, Massey. Yeah, the real truth is that Massey has done nothing but harm to Trump this whole time. And again, when all is said and done, we might find out by some miracle that Massey and Trump were in on it together this whole time, and it was all a big plan. Maybe. I mean, what are the odds of that happening? 0.4%, maybe. Okay. I'm not saying anything's impossible, but I can tell you, because right now we're in information warfare, so nothing is 100%, except trust Trump. But Massey, just look at this. What's the most important thing of Trump's agenda for the economy? Since he already got the tax cuts passed, he can deregulate whenever he wants. The one thing up in the air that's so important is tariffs. The thing that could end the Fed, that could end income tax, that could get our country back on track, that is giving us negotiating power with all these countries, changing our relationship with them, setting us free from globalization. Tariffs are amazing. I never thought I'd say that until Trump taught me better. But I was a free market, free trade guy. I'm still a free market guy in our country. I was a free trade guy, no longer. Trump has taught me to see the light. But Thomas Massey, results don't matter, I guess. Stick to those principles, the free trade principles. Free trade, as it turns out, only helps the big corporations and the other countries. It doesn't help your country at all. So that's truth. But Massey's so principled. Oh, shut up. It's so ridiculous. He's the worst. He's the worst. Lochtefeld says, excellent take on libertarians. Thank you. I appreciate that, Lochtefeld. It means a lot coming from you. Pam Hayes says, saw Thomas Massey political ad today, right up there with the kiss of Judas, pretends to support Trump 95%. God. No goal. David, my wife found it odd he moved on so fast after his wife died. Yeah, and apparently married a liberal. So that's kind of weird stuff, but like a Mets fan. Anyways, all right, guys, I went long tonight. There was so much to cover, but listen, guys, I appreciate you all so much for watching. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe, and please, I ask you guys, think about supporting the channel. It really helps me. I put a lot of time into this, and I want to be able to do it more. And the only way I can do it more is if I can work a little less at the other stuff. So if you guys want to help support the channel, that'd be awesome. You can go into the description, click that link, get a free month of my membership to test it out on Patreon. And if you love it, you can stay, and it's only $5 a month. That's all I ask. So check that out. If you don't mind, if you haven't checked it out yet, we'd love to have you in the Discord. Discord's really fun, and Discord's where the relationships are really made. Listen, just like at the beginning, I remind you guys, we're in a spiritual war. We are. And spiritual warfare is everywhere. I'm actually going to talk about spiritual warfare tomorrow on my members only live. So if you want to catch that, you got to become a member. So, but I'm going to deep dive into actual spiritual warfare, my history with it, how to fight it, what it really looks like. It's not the flashy stuff you see on TV. Let me tell you that. But anyways, that's what we're really in. We're getting our country back. We are winning, despite what so many would say, freaking out. We are winning, but we're winning by prayer, sharing information, stepping up where we can. And we keep doing that. We're going to win no matter what. So God bless you guys. Let's end in a prayer, and we'll call it a night. So, Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Lord, I just pray a blessing on everybody, God, because there's a lot of spiritual warfare going on, and a lot of people's minds are being messed with. There is just nonstop attacks on our sanity right now, our hope, trying to just beat us down. And we can see the psyops. Thank you, God, for that awareness. And we learn more every day. We grow more every day, and we become more aware every day. And I thank you for that. Thank you for this awakening that is happening, seeing so many people. I pray it continues. Expose, Lord. We ask for exposure. We ask for justice at the corrupt and the criminal, Lord. We just pray you go after them and give the Trump administration everything they need to get that done. I pray for miracles to happen in Congress, Lord, that people would be replaced or hearts would be changed, whatever it takes, God, to just get that on board. And we pray for protection, especially for President Trump and his team, J.D. Vance, all of them, Lord, because we need them all. We need the whole team together. We need a future as well. And that team, the future's in that team. So we thank you for all you've done for us, Lord. Pray for justice, peace, and prosperity in our nation. In Jesus' name, and a blessing on everybody watching. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, love you guys. Let's see. David said, terrorists are like sword in the stone. Only the divinely ordained heir to the throne of America can use it. I love that. That's great stuff. So, all right. Well, God bless you guys. Thank you, Pam. Very nice of you to say that. You guys have a blessed night, and I will see members tomorrow, and everybody else, I'll be back on public show Thursday night. God bless you. Good night.